Okay, well, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're here for some more Oregairu 2, Episode 7. Last episode, we got more in-depth in how Hikigaya is going to go about helping Iroha as he headed over to their little meeting they were having, where the guy was just constantly doing this with his hands, doing the little hand motions, whatever it might have been. He was getting a little dance in there while he was talking, and Hikigaya eventually somehow learned the other school's language. I believe the school's name is Taihen. Orimoto showed up. God, why does she have to be there? But it was a good episode overall, as we got a little closer to Iroha, saw a little bit more of her side of things, and how her student council is not getting along very well. They don't seem to have much faith in her. They don't seem to like her very much. She doesn't seem to be doing a great job as a leader, so I'm hoping Hikigaya can kind of help her out there and kind of figure things out with that. As on the sidelines, the club continues to deteriorate from the inside, while the outside looks all nice and fancy and all happy and well. The inside is very clearly deteriorating as time continues to pass. So I'm honestly just waiting for that to kind of blow up here, which I'm expecting it to kind of after this Iroha arc that we have going on right now. So a lot of good stuff going on. One of you guys corrected me on a misunderstanding I had about Hayama. About Iroha when she was talking about Hayama. Apparently she had said that it wouldn't be cute of her to ask him to do a more difficult task. She said, I got it mixed up in saying that it wouldn't be cute of Hayama to try and do a more difficult task. So I thought she was kind of backhand insulting him, but evidently enough, I was wrong there. What she was actually saying was, it wouldn't be cute of me to go and ask Hayama to do a more difficult task. That's what she believes in her mind. So we'll see where this episode goes, see how this Iroha arc concludes, if it's even going to conclude this episode, but we'll see how they get their Christmas preparations going. But without further ado, let's hop straight into Oregairu 2, Episode 7. Awful quiet in here. What is that? Oh god. Wait, did she draw that picture? I give myself tons and tons of points for that one. So 3 gifts for Komachi, and then the fact that the running bit of that scores a lot of points in my book literally is continued through a letter she wrote and stuffed in his bag is so funny. I hope that bit continues out throughout the rest of the series, but I love their relationship. They're so, like, most wholesome sibling relationship between them two. Wow, that was a quick introduction. Might be... No, I think there was a faster introduction last season. That was pretty fast, though. Did she get her the stuff? These things ruin people. is like oranges is like eating oranges under the kotatsu a Japanese tradition or something? Is that like something Japanese people like commonly do? Because I've seen it, I saw it in Horimiya. In the newest season of Horimiya, they did that as well. And now they're doing it here. I don't know if that's like a common tradition to eat oranges under the kotatsu. Large appliances, yeah. So he at least got the detergent. That's right, she is joining Hikigaya's school. From someone who's not working hard. Oh, like I said, man, I love these two. Their dynamic is the best. Yes, I know, all good. It's almost kind of that desperation in her face. Like, are you coming to club, please? Like, it's gonna fall apart. That's kind of what it seemed like. Back to his usual waiting spot. Oh, gosh. It seems like Yui wants them to actually walk out of class together. It's like she's almost starting to want to be seen around him more, because we know at this point she has a huge crush on him, so it's almost like she is wanting the whole class to see her leaving with him, and that's why she's upset that he's walking out of class and hiding at the end of the hall. But I think Hikigaya is also doing that on purpose. I think he doesn't want the entire class to see her leaving with him, and that's why he leaves first but still waits for her because she wants to walk with him. It's like, that's a weirdly complicated thing, just as simple as it is, just walking out of a classroom, but each person has different reasons. Like, Yui obviously wants him to walk out with her, walk out of the class so everybody in the class sees her and then sees her walking with him and being around him, and he doesn't want that to happen. So that could all just be totally wrong, but I don't see why else she would be upset with him leaving the classroom before her unless she wants other people to see her leaving the class with him. That's the only thing that would make sense in my mind for why she's upset that he's leaving, even if he's just going to wait around the corner for her. He's gonna help Iroha. Oh god. Yeah, there's no way she can't not worry. So, I think one of you guys told me that I was wrong in my theory last episode about Yukino's statement saying, "You thought you understood, didn't you?" But it seems that she might have actually wanted to join the student council. It wasn't just a... It's hard to describe because on one hand I want to assume and want to hope that Haruno's words didn't get under Yukino's skin, and that's not the driving reason she went for the student council, because obviously we know they were trying to find a solution, like how to get Iroha away from being the student council president, and Yukino just happened to throw herself up there because what she told the club was, "I'm doing this so it's I think she said something along the lines of like, it's the only solution," which it's seeming more and more like she actually wanted to be part of the student council, and that's why she told him, "You thought you understood." Him telling her, I've got him getting them both out of the student council race by getting Iroha to win, it doesn't seem like that's actually what Yukino wanted, which is partly her own fault. Like, I'm not gonna fault Hikigaya here at all, because the entire time it was made to seem as though Yukino was only stepping in to be the student council president because Iroha didn't want to. She was doing it because Iroha didn't want to. That's her own fault for not saying something for being super vague about everything. Like, I don't want to diss Yukino too hard because she has grown a lot as a person, but she's still very vague in that aspect. All she had to do was tell Yui and Hikigaya she actually wanted to be part of the student council, and Hikigaya would have never gone through with what he did. He wouldn't have stopped her if it's what she wanted. I know as a fact he wouldn't have stopped her. But in his mind, it's what she wanted. It was a way to help out Iroha without putting himself down and keeping the club together like Yui was asking for. But Yukino was just so vague and didn't describe her intentions, describe what she wanted, that you thought you understood and didn't you comment almost now seems kind of backhanded. Because how the hell is Hikigaya supposed to know? You didn't tell him, you didn't make that clear the entire time. Even I was under the impression she didn't want to be a part of the student council. I was also under that same impression. Until just now when they've brought it up, I'm like, huh. I mean, it makes sense that she would actually want to be in student council. One, Haruno didn't do it. Haruno confirmed that she was not part of the student council, and she ruffled Yukino's feathers enough that it seemed like it might have pushed her to want to join the student council. I'm not sure if Haruno is the only reason she might have decided, because at this point this is all speculation. Yukino could throw a curveball and be like, no, I didn't originally want to join, but that's really what it's seeming like here as they've talked about it more and more. So, I'm going to put this on Yukino. This is not Yui, this is not Hikigaya's fault. This is Yukino's fault for not talking. If she wanted to be part of the student council, I understand things are tense between her and Hikigaya right now, the way they've disagreed on a lot of things, and the way Hikigaya has said it over and over, the club room is like barely holding itself together right now. If they tried to take on another service job, it would probably fall apart. It's barely hanging on by a thread. So I mean, it's just such a situation. Because if Yukino would have been more verbal, if Hikigaya could be better about how he solves problems, if Yui... I don't know what Yui could do, honestly. Maybe be a little more assertive, I guess, because she kind of just lets them bicker back and forth and doesn't... I mean, I guess it is an argument between Yukino and Hikigaya, but she's also part of the club. I feel like she should insert herself more, maybe, try to be more assertive about her own opinions. It's just kind of a shit fest right now, and we're about to see how that plays out, because I actually think I agree. I think it makes total sense that Yukino wanted to be part of the student council. The reasoning I might have off a little bit, I don't know if it's Haruno actually ruffled her feathers. Maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't, but at the end of the day, she is trying to get into the student council. Like, that's really what it seems like. It could be wrong, like I said, but at this point in time where I am in the episode, that's what it seems like. Like that is what Yukinon likes to do. Might be a good chance to bring things back together. Yeah, Yukino seemed a little bit absent-minded, especially last episode when Iroha was like coming to her with that problem. Usually Yukino is the one who like jumps on top of it and is like trying to come up with ideas to solve problems, whatever it may be, but she was super absent-minded. They literally had to like say her name a couple times before she like woke up. Like she was very not there. Like before this whole thing, yeah, I think she would definitely jump on top of an opportunity like this, but she let Hikigaya shut it down like it was nothing. She didn't even try to put up a fight when Hikigaya was like, nah, we're not going to do this isn't our problem, and he kind of shoved Iroha out of the room. She didn't even put up a fight. Like, that's... If there's any way to show what the current circumstances of the club look like, I feel like that's a good way to show it. Just right to the phone. Is this for the beginning of the episode? Oh, no, it's not. It's just kind of they're repeating the same cycle over and over. Like they get in, Yukino's reading a book, Yui's on her phone, Hikigaya pulls out a book. Like it's just kind of repeating that cycle. She got real attentive. I've got stuff going on. That is so suspicious. Right back to reading the book. Oh yeah, I don't know if I brought it up, but one of you guys said that Iroha is the manager for the football club, which I'm pretty sure we're about to see right now. So I don't know why I'm talking over it, but she's the manager of the football club, and that is how she is, I guess, become good friends with Tobe, which I guess makes that makes a lot of sense. Oh, here's Hikigaya. What? I mean, if she's the manager of a club like this, and doing student council, that's a lot. Oh god. Hayama realizes something is going on. Doubtful. Very doubtful. I don't believe that for a second. We have seen over and over again how much Hayama cares for his friends and how good of a guy he is. We've seen it over and over and over again. He's a good guy. Oh, there she goes. It's a daily routine at this point. Not at all, I just got here myself. She's not her usual self. You can already tell right off the bat she's not her usual self. Whoa, what is this scene? What was up with that scene? Just them walking, like, very slowly and talking? What was up with that? What the hell? Oh, this is where Surumi comes in. We saw her in the OP as well. Yeah, he just kind of left him there. She sounds a lot more, what's the word for it? Stoic, I guess, is a word. It is true. Yeah, they still don't have any actual ideas for the event. Jesus Christ. You can't get around this guy. These guys, I liked his hand motions at first, but he's starting to piss me off. He's starting to piss me off because they literally say nothing. It's just buzzword after buzzword after buzzword of jack actually being said. It's terrible. Christmas concert. Well, they've actually... So they're doing a concert? They just came up with that instantly, so okay, that was quick. Christmas, no idea what that says. Christmas something. Orchestra, play, band, gospel, jazz, concert, music, musical, choir, closet, DR, present exchange, trades. Why are they all like overlapping? I can't read what any of those say. If Orimoto says that's the ticket one more time, I swear to God, I'm losing it with these people. I'm actually losing it. Oh my God. Shut up, Orimoto! Shut up! Oh my God. This is miserable. Oh, Totsuka. What the heck are you doing out here? Hikigai and Totsuka going on a little bit of a date. I feel like this is the first scene we've got one-on-one with these two in a minute. And goddammit, I'm about to love every second of it. Every time these two have their one-on-one time together is the absolute best. Compose a haiku. You've seemed that way lately. Has he really? Man, even Totsuka is starting to notice. Come on, Ike, please. Open up to your man crush, please. I'm like practically begging that he opens up to him because I feel like Totsuka might have some decent insight. Maybe. I don't know. Totsuka seems a little airheaded, so hopefully. I like how Totsuka has even gotten close enough with Hikigaya to recognize that he's not the kind of person who's going to talk about stuff when there's a problem. Komachi literally had to drag the information out of him. She had to be pissed at him for like a day or more, and then finally drag the conversation out of him when he was like utterly drained by the end of it. Even if it's hard or painful. I mean, that's true. But on the other hand, Totsuka is not wrong either. Whether it's hard or painful, you work hard no matter what. He likes to say that he doesn't work hard ever, but we've seen on several different occasions where he has been put in situations to help others, and he works hard towards that goal. Because that's just the kind of person he is at the end of the day. I'm just trying to play it cool. That I've decided I should have. It's a very good question to be asking. Wow, he just really broke it down. He really broke it down there. After seeing all these things, he's just trying to keep up this facade of who he believes he should be, which in his mind he is the cynical loner type. That's who he believes he should be, and so he's trying desperately to keep that up. But time and time again, we find Tsurumi again, and what do you know? She is completely and utterly alone. Completely stoic. Her voice was completely flat. Not talking to anybody, she had no friends, off on the side of the bench by herself, completely by herself. Seeing Yukino has basically given up, we saw as he literally admitted there himself that smile, that fake smile she just continues to put on every time, she's given up at this point. And then Yui forcing herself to smile, I mean, then the Iroha getting gloomy, like it's just... Man. And if you think about it, all this has been indirectly caused by Hikigaya. I'm not going to say it's just him because it's not. It's kind of a mix of a lot of different people have influenced the current situation at hand. But Hikigaya has definitely played a part in it, especially with Iroha and Tsurumi. Those two especially, he's played a part in. He essentially pushed Iroha to be the student council president, and he essentially pushed Tsurumi to be the loner she is now. Both of those are directly caused by his actions. Both of them directly. Iroha he put at the helm of the student council because he wanted to help Yukino and Yui, or he wanted to do what he thought was helping Yukino and Yui keep the club together. But as we've seen, that might not be the case for Yukino, as she just seems kind of defeated at this point. And then with Iroha, she's really struggling, and Hikigaya has been forced to now go and help her because of that. He has to help her because she wasn't ready. Like, just 1000% honest, she was not ready to be the student council president. It's truthful that Yukino probably would have made the best student council ever. She's prepared for that kind of position. Iroha is not, which is why she needs the help she's getting right now. Like, just all of these things have been caused by Hikigaya and this kind of personality he upholds, this ideology that he presumes as he goes throughout his daily life, the image that he upholds to like a scary extent because he's super self-conscious. Like, a lot of stuff is fed into the current events that are happening. A lot of them are either indirectly or directly caused by Hikigaya and the people around him. I'm not letting Yukino off the hook. She could have been the student council president. All she would have to do is say one sentence. If she would have said she wanted to be the president, I'm almost certain Yui and Hikigaya would have not had any complaints. I'm almost certain. So that I'm going to blame on her. Because a little communicate... I don't want to get in the whole spiel again, because I already talked about it earlier. For like 10 minutes. Yukino gave the impression that she didn't want to be part of the student council. That's the impression she gave off to Hikigaya and Yui, and that's why they took the actions that they did in the first place, because they believed she didn't want to be in that position. They believed that if they could either beat her, like if Yui could beat her, although she did later admit that if she would have became the student council president, the club probably still would have fallen apart because she would have been so caught up in that work. So she admitted that that wouldn't have worked, but she wanted to take that so Yukino would stay in the club. And then Hikigaya, I had somewhere I was going to go with it. Oh my god, talking about the Yui thing totally took me off course. But anyway, just big misunderstanding on Yukino's part, because both Hikigaya and Yui were under the impression she didn't want to be there. That was their impression. A little communication, even the slightest, would have stopped this whole trickle-down effect of events happening. Just that one little bit of communication from Yukino. As always, no event is like one character's fault. I think everybody kind of shares the blame in these kind of events happening, because none of them are very good at communication. None of them are very good at communication. They all tend to be very cagey from time to time. So that's also a reason that things are happening as they are. But that was very introspective of Hikigaya there. We've never seen him have that kind of introspect on himself like that before. Oh god, it's raining. I hope that's not a bad omen. Oh, school's over, okay. You don't get to win points with me. They can be won that easily. Why are you here? I don't want to see you. Okay. I said I'd give her the benefit of the doubt. I said last episode I would give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna try to hold back my hostility. Is it really that bad to be friends with Hikigaya? Whoa. What? Orimoto didn't take a situation and insult him with it? What? Wait, I know it's been a minute since Hayama had that conversation with her, or called them out like that. Has she really changed? I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe that she's changed this quickly, but she really, normally what she's done this entire series since we met her is say, yeah, he used to have a big crush on me and make fun of him for it. She didn't there. All she said was a lot happened in the past. And that's why Hikigaya was so surprised, because she didn't turn it on its head and make fun of him. Which is what she seems to always do. Interesting. I'm actually giving directions. Yeah, you've taken control of the situation. Like, at this point, the direction is very quickly heading to Hikigaya taking over this entire situation, because Iroha can't seem to make decisions on her own. She seems... I understand why. If these people spoke normal Japanese, if these people spoke in a normal language that everybody could understand, Iroha would be okay. But they speak in gibberish. That's all they speak in. So I totally understand her pain of having no idea what the f they're ever talking about. It makes total sense. I'm not blaming her in this situation at all. I feel like normally she could be a good leader. Even though I said at the beginning I don't think she's prepared, I stand by that. I think give her another year and she would have been more prepared for student council, because she is a first year, I believe. I believe Hikigaya is a second year, and she is a first year. So, give her one more year and she would have been a little more prepared, but this is a situation that's not even her fault at all. These guys are just totally incomprehensible about 90% of the time, so I'm not blaming this on her at all. But yeah, it's very quickly turning into Hikigaya kind of taking the reins of everything. Just goes back to tip-tapping on his laptop. They seem so indecisive, man. I don't get it. And she doesn't even look up at him. Oh, and she talks as he walks away. Oh, man. I guess I have a problem with them. Oh no! That didn't even click! That didn't even click! I like older guys, but I can't. I love this banter between them two. Oh, that cute little smile on her face. Is this Hikigaya almost trying to mend what he did back then? Because honestly, looking at that scene earlier, I was gonna say this is painful to watch. Just her totally ignoring him, just cutting away at the stars. Totally and 1000% ignoring him alone. Oh man, this is... Hikigaya, seriously, as much as like he has the issues of like self-sacrificing, he has grown a lot. Like, it's very subtle. It's very subtle, but he has grown a lot. Normally, he wouldn't even give someone like Tsurumi the time of day. He wouldn't even go over there and even talk with her, even if we go back to the beginning of the series. If what had happened in the summer camp happened at the very beginning of the series, and then he would have immediately come and seen her again, kind of in this situation, he wouldn't have even talked to her. He wouldn't have given it a second thought. Or maybe he would have. It's kind of hard to think, because back then he was, like I said, a lot different than I feel he is now. I don't know, man. He's changed. That's all I can really say, is he's changed a lot. In more subtle ways than maybe someone like Yukino has, but he's changed a lot from the beginning of the series, and it's apparent. It is. I'm sure that alone isn't enough. Like I said, man, the introspection... We'll get to that in a second. The introspection Hikigaya is having right now is unlike anything we've seen from him in the entire series. His ideologies were so rock solid in the beginning of the series, but it's like I said in an earlier episode, I can't remember which one it is now, but keep poking, keep prodding at those ideologies over and over and over again, and we're seeing the cracks. He's beginning to rethink his ideologies. He's beginning to consider other options. Like, he's even he's not directly admitting it, but he is considering options where he was wrong in the past. He's considering them differently. He's thinking about things differently. His mindset feels like it's in a different place than where it was in the beginning. And I love to see that. This kind of introspection is something we would have never, ever gotten from Season 1 Hikigaya. Now to deal with this. Pretty Christmas lights out here. That is so. You sound so secretive, Hikigaya. You sound so unbelievably secretive. I'm honestly nervous because we have not seen a one-on-one interaction with these two like this since the very first episode of this season. 6 episodes. We have been 6 episodes detached from these two having a one-on-one conversation. Someone has always been there. Yui's always been there. It doesn't matter. Somebody has always been there. We've never had a one-on-one convo from them, and it's already started off extremely awkwardly. Nor do I have the right to. You always have before.
一人だから一人でやってる。お前だってそうだろう。
違うわ。できているつもりで、分かっているつもりでいただけだもの。
雪の下。
部活、しばらく休んだら、私たちに気を使っているなら、
別に気を使ってるとかじゃねえよ。
ずっと気を使っているわ。けど、別にもう無理する必要なんてないじゃない。それまでの私しか違う。
This soundtrack is so pretty, by the way. I'm just letting this play out now. I'm gonna go back through. Of course I am. You guys know there's an important scene like this, I have to go back through it, but I'm letting it play out for now. God damn, this soundtrack is so pretty.
無理してこなくていいわ。
You don't have to force yourself to attend anymore. However, that room continues to portray an endless everyday scene. Oh, it's a special ending. Yukino singing it. They had Yui do this earlier in the season too. That solitude used to be our pillar of strength. But it started crumbling down once we found love. I don't know if I've just never read the lyrics of the ending before, if this is a special one, but this very much sounds like a song about Hikigai and Yukino. Like, it very much does. I'm pretty sure Yui's saying the same song, honestly. I'm almost certain that this is like the general ending song, but they have them like specially singing it for these special episodes. Okay, now that we're through the ending, we're gonna go watch that scene again. So, the recording is over. I don't know where I'm gonna insert this, but this is me after I finished recording this scene on screen. I read a comment under this episode. It's like the top comment, the top rated comment by far. They f***ed this line up severely took away from my understanding of this scene. So we're gonna go back through it, and we're gonna go back through the scene with the correct subtitling. The subtitling here on screen is a complete botch. It's a complete botch. I'll read you the actual subtitle. Don't you think you should stop pushing yourself? Which is what she says before this line. If it were to break by something so trivial, then it wasn't that much to start with, right? How do you mess it up that badly? How do you... Oh, in what planet do you mess up that subtitle that badly? That deconstructs the entire reasoning behind everything that I said about this scene. I brushed over this quote right here like it was nothing because I thought it didn't mean anything. That's not true at all. That is, if not the most important quote of this entire conversation. And I would have totally missed the meaning if I didn't go look in some comments section and find that this line is totally in this translation. Like, are we serious? I would have seriously missed out on, like, the entire understanding of what this scene is because of that. Yukino is attempting to push him away because she also recognizes that they are on the brink of destruction as a club. One little trivial thing, and everything's gonna fall apart. What she's saying is, if this whole Ishiki thing, if the Iroha situation, if Hikigaya believed the Iroha situation was enough to break down the club, what's the point of keeping it running in the first place if something so trivial such as that he believed would break down the club? That is her whole reasoning for this. She's saying if you're forcing yourself to come because you believe it's going to break down if you don't, or if it's going to break down at the most trivial of things, then don't force yourself to come anymore. Basically just spitting out the exact same line that he said to Hayama earlier in the season. When he was talking to Hayama in episode 2, he told him, if it's so trivial, why would you want to keep it? Like, if it's so trivial, if it's so superficial of a relationship, why are you working so hard to keep it? That was his exact words in episode 2 of season 2. Almost verbatim, his exact words. Sorry, I realize I'm getting a little worked up. I'm just pissed that I almost missed the entire reasoning behind this scene in the first place because of a subtitle up. I'm sorry, I got a little worked up there. But it's just the fact of the matter that, like, I would have missed all of that. Like, she spit out verbatim what he said to him. His own words contradicting him straight in the face. It's like a slap across the face because that's exactly what he said to Hayama. If something so trivial were to break down the friendship of Hayama and his friends, aka Tobe confessing to Ebina, if that was to break down their friendships, then is it even something worth keeping in the first place? That's exactly what he talked about to Hayama. Exactly what he talked about. And he's getting a taste of his own medicine right here from Yukino. If something is so trivial as the Iroha situation was enough to break our friendships down and ruin the club, what's the point of keeping it? Verbatim what he told Hayama. And that's why he had that reaction. Because he's eating his words. He is eating them directly. He is directly eating his words for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what's happening right now. I'm so annoyed that I almost missed this. I'm so annoyed. But I'm trying so hard to not get worked up, and it's not helping. Because that just made this scene a trillion times better knowing that quote. I'm going to read it out again just because I feel like it's so impactful. So I really think you should stop pushing yourself. If it were to break by something so trivial, then it wasn't that much to start with. I think that's the comment. I think it's supposed to be, then wasn't it not that much to start with? I don't know if then it wasn't that much to start with. That's a weird way to phrase a question. Obviously, if it being the friendship between all three of them, if it were to be broken down by something so trivial as the Iraha situation, is it even worth maintaining in the first place? Literally throwing his words back at him, and he's having to eat that because it's completely contradictory. He's doing everything in his power to keep their friendship alive. Like, that's why he took this Iroha job in the first place, was to keep their friendship alive because he believes that it'll crumble at the most trivial of complications. That's what he believes. And Yukino's just saying here exactly what he said to Hayama. Exactly what he said. That has made this scene 10,000 times more impactful than it ever was before. So much so that I'm going to go back and watch it again with this new understanding of what exactly the point is she's trying to get across. I think I am right on this. The whole thing about, like, being alone and how Yukino admits that she was wrong in that aspect, that relying on others and stuff is something you need to do as she tried to do everything on her own. She's obviously admitting here that that's not the case and that she's learned and grown from that. That is still the same. That the meaning of what she says later does not affect this here. And he's not showing consideration because he wants their friend group to be a thing, even if he's eating his words. Even if there were contradictions, it's good that it's being contradicted now. Because now he's beginning to understand what Hayama felt. He's truly, finally beginning to understand what Hayama felt in that situation. Like, he was completely wrong. He was completely wrong in that situation. And now he's beginning to feel exactly what Hayama felt. Exactly what Hayama felt. It's kind of like Yukino is the Hikigaya in that situation now. It's like Yukino is the Hikigaya from that situation in this current situation. Kind of, man, it's crazy. That the parallels there and him eating his words is crazy. And the fact that I would have missed that entirely because of that bad subtitle is seriously still blowing my mind. If it were to break down from something as trivial as that, was it even worth keeping up in the first place? I'm just gonna talk over that subtitle because I hate it. Am I wrong? And he can't even deny it. He can't even deny it because it's exactly the same thing, the same speech he gave to Hayama earlier this season. He can't even say, no, you're wrong. Because it would be completely and utterly contradicting what he said. He's already contradicting what he said. But if he came out and straight said, you're wrong, it would just be completely in contradiction, like 100% contradiction to what he said. Even though he's already contradicting it with what he's been doing for the past several episodes. And he just has no response. Because Hikigaya, for as much as he talked about superficial relationships, he sure as hell wants to save this one. And I think even he might not... Jesus, that stutter. Even he might not understand why he wants to save it so much. I think he realized... I don't know. He obviously cares about them both. He realizes that, which is why he's trying to keep it together so much, but for his... Man, I love this. His ideology is seriously being tested. And that's a good thing. That is a damn good thing. Like, it's been poked and prodded, and even in this episode, he's had several moments of introspection on himself, the decisions he's made throughout the past season and a half that have led him to this point, and now he's getting a straight-up slap in the face about his contradictions to the current situation and what happened with Hayama, Tobe, and Ebina back then. Crazy. Crazy good writing. Absolutely beautiful writing. Wherever I end up sticking this in the video. We'll get back to the basic discussion now, but I just wanted to put this in there because, oh my god, I cannot believe that one subtitle nearly screwed over my entire viewing and understanding experience for this entire scene. I guess back to the actual video now. So before I rewatch it, I want to get out my first watch thoughts. It seemed that Yukino is under the impression that Hikigaya is continually forcing himself to attend at this point. I can't tell if she believes that he doesn't want to be there. From what she says like on the lines of like, you've always solved things on your own. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I need to watch it again. Like I said, I need to watch it again to extract the full meaning that I'm missing here. But it really seems like she's under the impression that he's just forcing himself to be there now. Like, he doesn't want to be at this club anymore. Like, that's really what it seems like she thinks. Basically saying if you're gonna go help somebody do something on your own, there's no reason to confirm it with me. But obviously Hikigaya, it's a request that was brought to the club, so it's kind of like, I should confirm with you or talk with you. But Yukino's like kind of shooting that down, like, you don't need my permission to go off and do things or help people on your own. That's an interesting statement right there. I'm only doing this alone because I am alone. Same goes for you, doesn't it? As in, like, I guess that's kind of a sentiment for the entire thing, is like, you and me both have always done things alone, so I'm just doing this alone, I guess is what he's saying. Maybe I only thought I had it all together, that I understood everything. Because this whole time, she's been saying, like, I do this alone because being alone, her whole ideology was that she's better alone. Like, relying on others. We had a whole arc last season about her beginning to rely on others because she was so hell-bent on doing everything on her own. She believed she didn't want to rely on others. She wanted to do everything by herself, and she's changed since then. I think that's what she's saying here. She's saying, because what Hikigaya says here is, I'm only doing this alone because I am alone. And then he says the same goes for you, and she's like, for me. And then she says, maybe I only thought I had it all together, that I understood everything. This is her just straight up admitting that that was totally wrong. Like, going about doing everything by herself over and over, she's saying here, is just wrong. She's saying that she was wrong in that steadfast ideology that she held, that she could do everything by herself, that she could do everything perfectly fine alone. Because that was her whole ideology from season 1. She literally had to have a conversation with Yui at her apartment where she was like, I want to rely on you. Like, I'm going to try to, but I need time, because her whole life had been built up doing everything on her own. Because it starts there, it starts by her saying, why don't you take a break? And then she finishes it by saying, you don't need to come anymore. I'm pretty sure something like that. Obviously, we're going to get through it, but that's kind of the sentiment it left off with. Was at first she said, why don't you take a break? But the final sentiment was kind of like, if you don't want to be there, don't come anymore. That's kind of what I left off feeling like she was saying. You always have been. So it almost seems like she's, I can't tell. I actually can't tell if she is under the impression that he no longer wants to be there, or that he's always not wanted to be there, and that he's just being forced to be with them. I can't tell if that's the impression she's under, or if this is some kind of ploy. I don't know. I feel like Yukino is smart enough to realize that he wants to be around them. He has grown an emotional connection with both Yui and Yukino throughout the course of this first season and half of this season. I can't tell if Yukino hasn't picked up on that and is reverted to the opinion that he doesn't want to be there, that he's just forcing himself to be there because Hiratsuka told him to go there in the first place, and that if he could dip, he would dip instantly. Like, that's what he was doing in early season 1. Early season 1, he tried to get anything he could to get the hell out of the club. He doesn't do that anymore because he actually likes them. He likes both of them. He's grown a connection with them. But I can't tell if Yukino thinks that he doesn't, or this is a ploy for some reason to get him out of the club. I don't know. I can't fully tell. It's really hard to tell with her. She's got such a straight face on right now with that smile that it's very hard to tell. Ever since back then. That statement makes it seem like she thinks the entire time he's been doing that. Which I don't know. I can't, like I said, I don't know if she's seriously thinks that or it's a ploy or whatever. But that's not true anymore. It's not. In the beginning, it might have been that he was forcing himself to be there because the teacher had told him to. It's not anymore. It hasn't been like that for a long time. That was early season 1 Hikigaya. It's not like that anymore at all. If you were to break down, that'd be all there was to it. If you were to break down, that'd be all there was to it. Like I said, this soundtrack is so pretty. Genuinely so pretty. That scene's gonna take some pondering for sure. Fantastic episode though. Absolutely fantastic. So, this frame I have on screen right now, I'm just kind of noticing it, but I can't... It's almost like they didn't draw a full smile. And the way her, like, eyes are kind of glimmering in the scene itself, it almost seems like she's... I don't want to say holding back tears, but that smile doesn't look like a full smile. That seems like a very half-assed kind of half smile. And, like, the way they kind of drew the lips almost looks like it's quivering. I'm probably looking way too much into that. But it almost looks like her lips are, like... kind of like slanted, like they're quivering a little bit. I don't know. Probably looking too much into that. It is what it is. Beautiful episode. Beautiful. The whole thing was Tsurumi. The introspection Hikigaya is going through right now. Just fantastic. All of it. Every second of it's amazing. And then this scene with Yukino. I really have to wonder where we go from here. I really don't know. Like, I don't know where we go from here. How does this get resolved? It feels like everything that's been built up between these two is just crumbling to the floor in front of my eyes. That's just what it feels like. So, I don't know. I hope we're able to fix it, but I really don't know. I did so much analyzing there on that Yukino scene, Yukino and Hikigaya scene, that I think I don't have much of an end-of-episode discussion. Fantastic episode, though. I think that is going to wrap it up for my reaction to Oregairu 2, Episode 7. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you all have a good day.